Welcome to the Orange Crush podcast. Rachel Vigil, Cody, Roark. I lied to everybody on Tuesday, and I feel like I need to apologize for it. I said that the Broncos were going to have practice on Wednesday. We were going to be able to recap everything from the day, and then Sean Payton said, player off day. Don't worry about it, everyone. So we have no updates from the locker room or from Sean Payton. However, we do have mailbag questions, Cody. So how are you, first of all?
I'm good. I was kind of surprised as well when we got the notification, the email about like the schedule this week. And, it's like, Wednesday's an off day. Partially I was like, yes, finally, a day off. I can actually like breathe and get my wits about me. And then at the same time, I'm like, oh, well, there's still things to do. So it's not really a day off. 2 days of practice though. I mean, this week, I get it. When you play Monday night, it's almost kind of like a Thursday game, essentially. You play Sunday, you play Thursday, now you play Monday, and then it's Sunday. You get like an extra day in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it. Obviously, we're going to probably get a lot today from locker room. Sean's going to speak. And then tomorrow it's coordinators, and they leave tomorrow to Philly right after practice. So going to be a busy couple of days for them, and hopefully they're locked in.
That 11 o'clock game is just so brutal, I think, for not only the players and the coaches, but for the fan base. And then I'm like, oh, Rachel, don't complain too much, because the following week they're going to be playing at 7:30 a.m., which is even harder for all of us here in Denver. And then I can't imagine what it's like for all of them trying to adjust to the time. Have you traveled like overseas before?
Yeah. Oh, for my honeymoon, we went to Italy. The adjustment was tough. I would say coming back from the honeymoon, it took me almost 3 weeks to get back to normal.
Oh, see, I had the opposite. I was fine coming back, but going out there, so we went to Switzerland for our honeymoon, and I was up, literally, this is so funny. I was up at 3 a.m. one night, okay? Could not go back to bed, like was wide awake. I watched an entire Colorado Avalanche game because it was 7 o'clock back here. I watched the entire game on my phone. My husband is asleep next to me. I'm like, I really should be like going to bed. We were going to do some big hike that day. I finally fell asleep after the game was over, and I think I slept for like 40 minutes, and I was like, great, like love this for me. But it's hard. Like that's why I give those players props. It is such a fast turnaround, and you have to play an intense football game.
Did you hear what Sean's approach is on the road this year?
No.
This is new. This is something new. I don't know if they did this last year. I didn't hear anything about it. But this year, apparently, even when they're on road games, they schedule everything on their itinerary as if they're still in mountain time. Like they'll say 1 p.m. or this or that. And like, wait, what? That's crazy. So they're going to go to Philly, Eastern time zone, which is 2 hours ahead of us. We know that's That's 1 p.m. Eastern time. So really the schedule is going to lead up to, it's going to say for kickoff for Sean, 11 a.m. Mountain time. So I found that I don't know what the
like a mind game.
That I don't know if it's a mind game or if it's like we're not changing anything that we do. Like, yeah, we're in a different time zone, but technically we're still going to just like keep the perspective as if we're in Colorado. I don't know. I don't understand. I'll have to ask the players about it. I think I'm going to ask that at the locker room today.
I literally was about to tell you, I will not be in the locker room today. I need you to go up to those guys and report back to us this weekend.
I will ask.
I need a tweet to be tweeted out by like 5 p.m. today, okay? If not, I'm going to yell at you over Twitter.
I got you.
Perfect. Okay, I'm very, very curious because, that is interesting if they care or if it's just a Sean Payton thing. But let's get into some mailbag questions because there are a lot of them. I thought this one was interesting. Do you think this week's game, being a measuring stick type game, will guide the front office on if/what trades need to be made to make the team a Super Bowl contender?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, this is a measuring stick game. You're playing the defending Super Bowl champions. You beat them. Okay, that's great. Granted, it's the regular season. You want to get to the playoffs. You want to win the Super Bowl, of course. I don't know if this is necessarily a game that's going to go out there and tell the front office like, hey, we need this position. I think we all know. I think the front office knows what positions they probably need help at. I don't think that Denver's going to be too – I know it's when is the trade deadline? I think it's like end of October. I think it's end of October or sometime in November. I don't think that Denver's going to trade anybody, though. Like – at this point, like you've already got your 53-man roster kind of set, unless there's like a back-breaking injury that just absolutely like you don't trust your depth. But what have we heard from Sean and George? We like our depth. We like our young guys. I don't think that they're going to trade anybody, honestly.
I don't want to get yelled at for saying this, But like, I think we can all sit here and agree the Broncos aren't going to go to the Super Bowl this year. Like, they just don't look like that type of team. And the teams that you see make the biggest splash with the trade deadlines are teams that realize, like, oh, we have a real shot at this. We just need this cornerback. We just need this safety. We just need another wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't look at the Broncos like that. I think they're still building on what they have. I think they are a playoff team.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of us are sitting here saying this is a Super Bowl year.
It's hard. I mean, that's the pinnacle. That's the goal of every team. And Denver has to prove that they can. And this Sunday's game is going to be a great example, Rachel. If they can find a way to go on the road at Philadelphia, and if they can beat the Eagles, then I think, okay, maybe this team can contend, right? Because Philadelphia, they find a way to get there, the last couple of years. They've been very, very good. Right now, the way that they do things from a front office standpoint of building their roster, it's stuff that you want to, aspire to have. And the Broncos obviously brought back Jordan Dizon, who was with the Philadelphia Eagles front office, who was previously with Denver. They brought him back this offseason. So he's understood how Howie Roseman and those guys have kind of worked. They brought that expertise now to the table in Denver, where I feel like they have made some good moves in terms of bringing the guys in. But, I mean, from what we saw, Rachel, the team that we saw in weeks 2 and weeks 3, that is not a team that, is going to win a Super Bowl. Granted, it's early in the season, but if they find a way to go on the road in Philly, it's like, okay, maybe they can, right? But I still think playoff team is the more reasonable expectation for them right now until they can prove we can beat the good teams. We can win these close games. They got to prove that in order to be a Super Bowl contender.
No, I'm totally with you. I'm also, I don't know if you feel the same. The more and more I dive into this Eagles team, the less and less scared I get about them. I feel like I'm sitting here being like, okay, yeah, undefeated, but look at the way they've won the game.
Yeah.
They can finish games, right?
Yeah.
We know that. That's the opposite of the Broncos, unfortunately. But I feel like there's actually a lot of areas where I'm like, oh, the Broncos might actually be able to do some damage here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with trying to get the run game going. If they can't run the ball against Philly, it's going to be tough because I look at the Eagles defense and obviously Vic Fangio. We all know Vic very well.
Mm-hmm.
They have elite level players. Not only do they have Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell, 2 elite level players at linebacker. Yep. I think Cooper DeJean's a very, very versatile player. Is that nickel Swiss Army knife type of player, can play multiple positions for you. But then Jalen Carter and that defensive line. And now they lost a pass rusher this past week to a season-ending injury. But I look at this Philly defense and it's like they're tough, but they're not like right now they're vulnerable. They're beatable. Like this is a beatable Philly team. What Broncos team are we going to get?
That is a very, very good question. I know we've got some other Eagles talk, so I won't try and take up too much of that so we can make sure we talk about it. But people said, hey, man, love what you talk about, BTW. What's your opinion on the Broncos matchup versus the Eagles and where their current situation is? So kind of touching just on what you said right there. I also think the Broncos defense, or the Eagles offense really hasn't found much of a rhythm this year. And Saquon's not having quite the season I think a lot of people were expecting out of him. Obviously, when you have the wide receivers and the drama, which I do want to get into here in a little bit, your thoughts on all of this.
Love it.
But I just think that the Broncos defense actually is a really good, like, they match up really well against this Eagles offense. If Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, like all of those guys can get going, I think that they're going to be able to stuff the run, which is going to be great and really help them out. And you're not going to be able to get into a flow for this Eagles team. Like the more and more I look into it, the more and more I'm like, I actually really like this matchup for the Broncos if the right team shows up.
Yeah, and that's the question here. And I think as well, like just down efficiency is going to be big. We know if it's a short yardage situation, they're going to go tush push. Like that's the thing. Like so, hopefully you can avoid those 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, and force them to punt. In situations like that. The one thing you're going to have to worry about in this game, obviously outside of trying to contain Saquon Barkley, I really think the biggest key here is trying to figure out how to eliminate Jalen Hurts from being able to use his legs because Jalen is a big physical dude. He's hard to bring down. In the Broncos last year defensively, they struggled against some running quarterbacks. Even Anthony Richardson in that one game against Denver, he used his legs and, they had a designed quarterback run. Like they'll do that here with Jalen. Jalen is a far more elite level player, far more accurate quarterback than Richardson. And not to say that, we were worried about Anthony Richardson. We didn't think about that before that game, and it ended up hurting the Broncos some way. Jalen is the guy, though, that he's just so tough and so physical. You have to worry about him. You have to worry about Saquon. You have to worry about A.J. Brown, we'll talk about that. Devonta Smith, obviously a very talented player. Oh, and you got to worry about Dallas Goedert, who, we're eyeing the injury report. He did not participate yesterday. So we'll see if he's back today. Obviously a big outlet option for Jalen.
No, I agreed. And he just sees the field so well that he can, even if he does have to run, or left to right, like he just can make plays happen all over the place. So I'm always paying attention to him too. And yeah, I think that is going to be a big thing. But again, a guy like Zach Allen, I feel confident. I'm like, go get after him. Or if we're going to see what we saw last week where Cooper and Benito can get on the side because everybody's trying to block Zach Allen. Like, I love that for him. Yeah. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Okay, let's talk A.J. Brown, though. Your initial thoughts, and he spoke to the media on Wednesday, so I don't know. I personally love the drama when it's the team that I'm going to be playing that week, so I'm here for it. But is it selfish of him or what?
I think he's just frustrated at how, the offense is not living up to the expectation across the board. And he met with the media yesterday, and he talked about how he's frustrated with that. And that has nothing to do with Sirianni, has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts, this and that. But part of us, we always sit there and just wonder with A.J. Brown sometimes. Very, very good wide receiver. I mean, I'd say you can make the argument he's one of the better wide receivers in the entire NFL. I think he and Jamar Chase are up there in that conversation. Justin Jefferson obviously is in that combo. Yep. But, the one thing I'll say about this, the flip side of it, is you hope that it's a distraction for them all week long. But you also, at the same time, if you're on the other side, you don't want it to be the turning point. This is the game they flip the switch and all of a sudden all the issues are fixed. You don't want that to happen this week.
Yep. No, I feel the exact same way. Like I said, I love the drama when it's the team that I'm going against because I'm like, oh, those are the questions you're asking in the locker room. Perfect. Keep asking them. The fact that has been the main conversation point the whole time, but also just the fact that the Bible quote that he used was talking about this in silence and stuff. I'm like, dude, you just totally went against what you were trying to say here by just posting the quote. I don't know. It was a whole thing. I was like, I don't really quite understand, but I do sit there and I'm like, you're 4-0. I get maybe the expectations aren't there, but take a look around. I'm sure there are plenty of other guys on that team who would also love to be getting more action, more playtime, whatever. Let's just simmer down a little bit. That's my personal opinion, but I also get a little heated when it comes to drama queens a little.
I would say, 4-0, first world problems over there in Philly.
I know.
Jeez.
I'm like, seriously, that's what we're gonna put on Instagram or tweet it or put it on Instagram. I can't remember.
I think both. I think probably both. Maybe or is it? There's always this one tweet. They're profiling football players, and it's football players cryptic tweets. DBs will say something weird, but wide receivers will be the enemy holds a knife or something like this. And it's just all right, it's A.J. Brown.
Okay, also, we're going on our first detour of the show.
I love
Shedeur Sanders.
Hey, you know what? I'll say this about Shedeur. I don't think we've ever seen that. I don't think we've ever seen an NFL player pantomime ever, in the locker room or at a presser. And I get it. I understand it. Because of what Rex Ryan was saying, that's really where all this came from, was what Rex Ryan had said. And so Shedeur paying attention to that, because he said, Rex just said he should just shut up. So he technically shut up. He was silent. He was, he stayed quiet there. But at the same time, it's a lose-lose for Shedeur. Shedeur obviously has some maturity issues that have been very well documented since his time at CU.
Yep.
We know about the backstory of the NFL draft, all the stuff going on behind the scenes there. And now it's just to this point where it's all right, at this point, the cameras are still going to be on him. And, they're going to ask, what are your thoughts about Dylan Gabriel getting the starting job over you? It's what he should say from a PR standpoint, and they got to tighten this up is, I'm just going to keep preparing and keep working as hard as I can and, and be as good of a teammate as I can. That's all he needs to say at that point. But yeah, I feel like he's going to lose. No matter what he does, if he does something, doesn't do anything, it's going to be negatively picked apart.
My whole thing is if the media wants to talk to you, they're going to talk to you. And if they're going to continue, then you might as well give them something. It was hysterical. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was so funny. But if you are the PR team, right, you and I both experienced it. If there's a player Broncos PR doesn't want us to talk to, they're going to stand right in front of that player and they're going to be he's not taking any questions right now. totally see that happening here, but yet it hasn't
But,
happened.
but that's the thing about locker room is like we have the rights to talk to players. So it's like, unless there's like a player injury, I understand like when it's injured players.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of like teams being able to say like you can't talk to us, but like if we're in the open locker room, they're there. It's free game. Like
yeah. But okay, also, how many people do we know that hide in like treatment rooms until the media is actually gone?
So many guys, and I understand it, but yeah.
So does Shedeur just not want to do that? I think he personally likes it. I think he finds it funny.
He could easily avoid it. Like there are guys that we don't see all year in the locker room, and ideally, like those guys can get fined. Like it's not us that fine them. It's just like they have like an obligation to do media, and I understand like the optics of it. Like sometimes the media could be a little too much. Like we see it all the time. There's times when we sit there and we're like we see someone doing something, we're like don't do that. Like now it's gonna make us all look bad.
Yep, especially during training camp.
Oh God, and it's usually the people that like don't even get me started on training camp. It's the people that don't even go to regular season practices that do stuff, and it's like, my God, what are we doing?
My biggest pet peeve. And this is why for so long I didn't ask questions at pressers, because like this is the first year I've been going to almost every single practice, right? Like I know everything Sean's going to say. Even if I don't go, I still read like all the questions, yada, 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 because I'm finally like on this beat. I did not ask questions for the longest time because I'm like, I get annoyed when I know an answer to a question that somebody asks, and we only get a limited amount of questions. So then I'm like, I'm never going to take that away if there's already the answer to it. And it is just so true. It drives me bonkers when there are questions that have already been asked and somebody asks them to Sean. And I'm like, oh, you just wasted a question.
You asked this yesterday. Like I always like if I somehow rarely miss like a practice or a presser, it's like, okay, I'll look and see, like I'll read the quote clippings and say, okay, did someone ask about this? Okay, no, then I'm going to ask about it. There we go. I'm with you. It's the etiquette. Some people just want to be heard, Rachel. Some people want to be heard.
They like the sound of their own voice. Okay, back to our question. This one mainly for you. What did the Broncos do to shut down T. Higgins over Riley down the sideline after the first couple of times? I have not watched back the film like you have, so give me your analysis here.
I mean, they did a good job. Like at times they would choose between bracketing T. Higgins or Jamar in certain, third down passing situations. And I mean, luckily the Bengals, they faced a lot of third and longs, third and mediums, and it's credit to Denver's defense. A lot of it was just kind of lurking at safety over the top. Sometimes the Broncos would play man, they'd play zone. I just think that for Browning, all he really tried to do was the deep passing game early on, and it wasn't working. And then because of that, Denver tightened up. And then when he went to the quick passing game, everything just was suffocated and blanketed inside. Like they didn't have any rhythm or flow or anything like that. I thought it was a great job. And the crazy thing about the Broncos D is they didn't really pressure. They didn't send a lot, like the Vance Joseph blitz packages that we've been accustomed to seeing. They didn't even send that after Jake, which is great. Denver got home with 4 guys consistently.
And go watch Tuesday's episode because we talked a lot about this, and Cody gave an amazing stat on this. We saw a very, very different VJ type defense, which I'll be very curious to see if they go back to what we normally see.
Maybe they do it this week against Jalen and them.
Maybe. I'll be very curious because, like I said, the Eagles offense hasn't really found its like long yard game yet. So do you really need to do that? You know what I mean? Like they still have big threats, don't get me wrong, but I'll be very curious. I think this week's going to be very interesting just in general for a lot of reasons when it comes to the Broncos. Next question. What are the Broncos going to need to do to beat the Eagles on the road in a hostile environment?
Well, I mean, I think the cliche answer here, I think offensively is find a way to run the ball effectively. I think you win the time of possession and be efficient in your third downs. I mean, the Broncos dominated the time of possession against the Bengals on Monday night. They were great on third down. They were efficient. I mean, there were times they had 3rd and 10. They somehow still converted. Bo set his feet and he threw. But this pass rush, I think, of the Eagles is definitely something you have to worry about. They're going to send a lot of 4-man pressures. They're not going to send a ton of like exotic looks here. They're going to drop their linebackers back into coverage because those guys can each range sideline to sideline.
Yep.
So I think come out here, try to run the football. And then I think defensively, you got to stop Saquon. You got to limit what Saquon can do to open things up because really Saquon is the guy. If you let him get 4 or 5, 6 yards a pop, and it's now 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. Well, now you make the play calling easier for Philadelphia to say, okay, we might throw a quick pass here, and then if it's short, we'll just push it. Like they have a built-in margin for error. So I think it's just being able to, I'd say, suffocate what they want to do.
I like that. Yeah, I would definitely say stop the run defensively. But then 2, this is going to come down to Bo Nix. He's going to have to play really, really smart football. No turnovers are going to be allowed. But again, that's Sean Payton helping this team, helping this quarterback by running the ball, making it comfortable for Bo, getting things started early that aren't too crazy. No timeouts on the first drive. That's me, my big one. I'm going to go crazy on Twitter if there's one timeout in the first drive by this offense. So those would be my big ones. But I think if Bo commits any sort of turnover in this game, I don't know if they're going to be able to come back from it, and that's going to be really unfortunate.
It's hard. The only way to do it is by getting takeaways. The Broncos haven't gotten a lot of takeaways this year in terms of interceptions. I mean, Brandon Jones is the only guy to have an interception this year, and we are 4 weeks into the season, now going on 5 with Sunday's game here. So you got to get picks, got to get takeaways. Strip sacks are great, but my goodness, got to find a way to take away the passing game a little bit. So we'll see if that happens.
I'm going to win the turnover battle. Okay. Looking at the next 4 games, will it be scary good for the Broncos or a nightmare?
Well, it depends on how Sunday goes. If they win, it'll be nice, but then you got to go take on that Jets team in London. You have to travel.
That's the coin flip. Like those international games, even if you're the better team, you can lose that game.
You come back, you face the Giants.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, and I know the mania they got going there. They got a really, really, really good defense.
Yep.
Really good pass rush. It's scary what they have defensively in New York.
Yep.
And then you got the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, who can put up points? As we've seen, they put up 40 points like it was nothing against Green Bay, and Green Bay is supposed to have a very good defense this year. So,
okay, prediction time. Next 4 games, what are they going?
Ooh. I'm going to go 3-1.
Oh, okay. I was going 2-2, but okay.
I was thinking 2-2, but I'm going to go 3-1. I think they'll find a way to beat the Jets. I think they'll beat the Jets. I think they'll beat the Giants. I think they'll beat the Cowboys. And I think if somehow beat the Eagles, okay. Conversation is a little different.
Okay. I like it. Well, regardless, 3-1 would be fantastic for this Denver Broncos team. 2-2. You're middle of the pack. You're still on your way to making the playoffs as long as you can continue into it. But this next month is definitely going to be a big challenge for this Denver Broncos team. So all eyes on the Broncos this week. Anything else you want to ask the guys in the locker room today? Also, I just need to tell everybody, okay, there's usually like little media scrums, right? Like I'm usually a part of those when you have to get video and all sorts of stuff. Cody is over there just like chit-chatting with guys. He's just like, yo, like, what are we talking about over here? Like, he just like, and not in a creepy way. I'm not saying that. Like, he's not just like joining conversation, but he knows so many of these guys that he just chit-chats. So I'm always like, okay, Cody, what did we learn? Like, anything good?
There's a lot of things like, this as well. Like, there's a lot of things I'll talk to guys about off the record. But it's like, if someone's given a soundbite, okay, that's easy to just get right there versus just, I think it's important to build relationships with these guys and, get to know what they do away from football. A lot of the times, I'm talking to Marvin Mims about food, like, best barbecue here in Denver or stuff like that.
Oh, he's a foodie. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he loved Southern barbecue. Same thing with Evan Ingram. I was talking to Evan Ingram about a place here that we know and frequent. It's off of, I believe it's University. I think it's Saucy Southern.
Oh.
Really, really, really good. Next to Pete's University Cafe, right across the street from it, which is another great spot there. So I talk about food. We talk about life. Like I talk to some guys like Nick Benito and I, we both watch. Have you ever seen the show on Amazon, The Boys? Like
no.
It's like, okay. So there's a show called The Boys and there's a second show to it. It's called Gen V. It's like superheroes, but it's not like people saving the world. It's like very vulgar, very bloody, very like chaotic. You got to look it up. I think you'd like it. I think it'd be very interesting to you. Anyways, Nick Benito and I, we've been talking about The Boys for like 3 years. Like that's one of our favorite shows. So he and I, we talk video games, we talk TV, like the stuff that these guys like away from football. It's great.
Okay, so see, that is where like just being totally transparent and honest with everybody. Like as a female, it is so hard to have this conversation. So a lot of the times when I want to have like those one-on-ones, I'll bring up the wives and the girlfriends and like, you know, something I saw on social media, like Jarrett Stidham, his wife is expecting their third child any day. So like, I'll ask him about that. But like a lot of those conversations, I can't just go up to them and have, because one, I think they'd be like, okay, like, what are we doing here? So, but I still also want to build that relationship. So I have to find a different avenue, which is a whole other challenge, which is always interesting. Funny enough, though, we've been talking to Nick about some other like, you know, off-screen things that we're trying to do over at Altitude. And first of all, he's such a funny dude. He like cracks me up. But he had texted my producer at like 1:30 a.m. and responded to one of her questions. And I was like, Nick, what time do you get in here? Like every single day? And he's like 7. I was like, dude, what are you doing up at 1:30 then? Like, how do you not go to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock? And he's like, I'm just such like a night owl. And he's like, I don't really need a lot of sleep. And he's like, I'm playing video games too late. So then we started talking about video games too. But I need you to talk to Nick about the 6-7 thing.
Oh, yeah.
Down low on that.
Well, they actually, so I think I have footage of it actually from when I was in the locker room. He actually brought it up.
Oh, okay.
Game. I have footage of it somewhere. I could get that to you. Yeah. I think he was just like, it's a fun social media trend. Which I mean, you and I, we reacted to it the other day. I'm like, okay, I don't like the kids these days. I don't know what it is. I'll tell you this, like Pat Surtain, music, like loves music, loves like that R&B soul music. That's one thing that we were talking about. And I was like, I kind of surprised him a little bit because I was telling him like all the old school like R&B soul artists that I listen to, and you know, to this day, I even pulled up my playlist and he's like, damn, he's like, you got some flavors. I was like, yeah. But it's like,
do you ever think about how much older than you are than some of these guys?
It's weird sometimes because it's like you look at them like these dudes are the most like physically like jacked human beings ever and whatnot. And so I'd say all these guys in the locker room are so smart. Like you can tell, just
very smart,
ridiculously smart. Not only smart football players, but smart human beings.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, like the media side of it, for them is intimidating, just because you know there is perceptions of media and whatnot. There are bad apples in the media. We all know that. But it's like, all right, if I like, the worry is I can't say anything to these people because then they might say something and it turns into this big old thing. Like, that's why I think it's so important, like for people just to build trust with athletes. If you want to get to know and you want to get answers from athletes, build that trust first. Like, get to know them. Like that's, and that's what they'll remember that. Like even when they're done playing, they'll remember that. You know, you can ask them a million questions about the game, but you know, you may tell a story one time, or you may bond over something that's not related to football. And it's like, hey, I remember you. Like that's what matters.
No, I totally agree. And we all spend a lot of time together, if we're being honest too. Like it doesn't feel like it in the moment, right? Like we get 45 minutes in that locker room, but when you add up how many 45-minute locker room visits we have throughout a season, there are a lot of them.
I can't wait to be in the locker room today. Going to talk with Troy and Alex Forsyth about Oregon's big victory over Penn State this past weekend.
There you go. What a game that was. I know we talked about it on Tuesday. So fun. Broncos traveling to Philadelphia to take on the undefeated Eagles. Can they be the first team to give them an L in their column? We will find out. Cody, as always, appreciate you, to everybody hanging out with us. We love you guys so much. Keep the comments rolling. Our boss texted us and told us that we have been phenomenal, and this podcast is so fun. So we love seeing that type of stuff, and we hope you guys feel the exact same way. We're just having fun here, and I love it.
That's what it's all about. Rachel, I will see you. Actually, you're going on vacation, I think.
I am. It is my 1-year anniversary, so I am taking the next 2 days to really enjoy it. No Broncos for me, which is why I was extra sad they didn't do practice yesterday. But
don't worry about Twitter. Don't worry about Broncos. That stuff. You get this one life. Enjoy your anniversary.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. All right, but I'm looking forward to your tweet. I need the tweet today. Post practice, 5 o'clock. Better be out there.
I got you.
All right.
See you, Broncos Country.